Where'd he come from? Where'd you come from?
Sometimes the questions that we ask others are the ones that we most want to answer about ourselves. Fantastic Mr. Fox, the 2009 stop-motion film based on the classic Roald Dahl novel, is a wonderful 90 minutes long. This scene is 90 seconds. But for Wes Anderson, it's the one that matters most.
There's a scene near the end of the movie that's where they see this wolf, and it's really has nothing to do with the plot at all. It's a totally isolated thing, but I feel like it's the climax of the movie for some reason.
And he's not alone. Almost everyone I've spoken to about this film brings it up. The wolf scene. Anderson himself said you could cut it entirely and the plot still works. And yet, symbolically, it's the moment the whole film has been building towards. It's the scene that stuck with audiences for almost 17 years. But to understand why, you first need to understand why Wes Anderson made this film, how he did it, and what Fantastic Mr. Fox is actually all about.
It's a book I read as a child, and I've loved it all my life. You know, I have the same copy that I had when I was a kid, and I've kept it on my shelves wherever I've lived. And at a certain point, I decided I wanted to work in stop motion, which is like a very old-fashioned kind of a filmmaking technique. But I wanted to do a stop-motion movie with fur, puppets with fur, and this is the right book for that.
The right way to tell a story is sometimes a way you've never tried before, even if you have no clue what you're doing.
I had no experience doing anything with animation or I didn't know anything about stop motion.
I just knew I liked the way it looked in movies, and I liked the textures of it, and I had no idea how I was going to go about it.
Right, off we go then.
Stop motion is one of the most artistically creative but demanding techniques in filmmaking. Each second of footage standardly requires 24 individual photographs. Each and every one taken after puppets and everything around them have been moved or manipulated by just a couple of millimeters.
Most of the movie is animated with puppets like this, which the animators move just one bit at a time. And we would have many units working simultaneously, each with a different animator doing a shot.
And of course, before the animation can even start, everything needs to be designed from scratch and by hand. And being Wes Anderson, he had a very particular style in mind.
Wes has very strong ideas. He's a designer as much as he is a director of the film. He has such a clear direction on the way he wants things to look. So I had to sort of take his unique, sort of dry, slightly adult kind of vision and make it into a stuff frame world.
We all know about the Wes Anderson visual style, but what did he do as the director on his first animated feature?
We recorded the voices in kind of an unconventional way, which was we went to a farm and kind of got a group together. And
You really cuss you cuss with me? How'd you like your cussing paws ripped off? I will cuss you in
We did it all out in nature. No one's ever done anything like that. You know, we're in different barns, different parts of the farm, different atmospheres to get different sound quality and different feel when you're performing.
Wes's dream was to keep the actors as close together as possible with one microphone and have them run around and act out these scenes so you could get people out of breath, overlapping each other. Things that happen in real movies that you tend not to see typically in animated films because things are done so separately. If the foxes are digging a hole, Wes got us on the ground and actually had us digging in the ground.
Wes Anderson has his own distinct way of doing things, even when it comes to something he's never done before.
The way I directed this film, I only spent about 1 week a month on the set in London. The rest of the time, I was in other places, often in Paris, with my editorial team and my storyboard artists and a computer system that we set up so I could look through each camera on the set. It let me look at more things in the course of the day than I could any other way. I could just electronically move from set 22 to set 19 to set 12A, but it was sort of like a command center.
There's 29 units going at once. That's insane. I'm accustomed to one, and that's usually completely overwhelming.
Part of the challenge of this job is trying to communicate his unique sensibilities to the animators so that we're making a Wes Anderson film in every way.
Wes obviously had his idea of how he wanted the shot to be. So how it sort of worked was he would do these videos of him acting out the script, basically. So he would play the part.
That comes to mind?
It was usually quite clear as to very precise sort of facial mannerisms or gestures that the animator could then work with and pick out, you know, sort of key elements that he wanted in there.
With the incredible art of stop motion and the wonderful weirdness of Wes Anderson being as interesting as they are, why are they important in understanding the significance and lasting power of this guy? The mechanics of stop motion show us just how much work goes into every second of this film. On a good day, this crew produced 30 seconds of footage, so even a sequence as short as the wolf scene took days to complete, before accounting for puppet and set design. It earned its place. It doesn't advance the plot, but it's very much meant to be there. And we all know the person who fought to make sure it was. Every directorial decision Wes Anderson made was in service of this whimsical naturalism. The production design, the voice acting, the physical animation, all have authentic texture. The same sincerity was there from the start, in how he and Noah Baumbach expanded the story from Dahl's original novel.
I started working with Noah Baumbach on the script, and I had an idea of where it could start. I knew we were going to have to expand the book significantly because it's very short. And as we got going, we just sort of started dreaming up new characters and new ideas for scenes. But it was always our guiding principle that we were pretending to be Roald Dahl. We spent time at his house where we were writing, and a lot of the details of his life sort of found their way into our story and into his character. Dahl probably wrote Mr. Fox to be an animal version of himself.
The cunning protagonist was a very personal creation for Dahl, reflecting his own mischievous nature and fondness for outwitting pompous authority figures. And I think in the process of expanding the story, it became quite personal for Wes Anderson too.
I got more and more invested in it than I expected to be. It became more and more personal, and I always felt we were trying to do Roald Dahl, but I also thought we're finding a lot of room to invent our own things to go in this.
Wes Anderson really transformed the story of Fantastic Mr. Fox, adding that authentic texture to the narrative and characters. His version isn't just the tale of a clever fox outsmarting 3 mean farmers. It's about the conflict of being a wild animal in a corduroy suit, trying to find the right place between who we're supposed to be and who we actually are. Mr. Fox previously had a more traditional profession.
I used to steal birds, but now I'm a newspaper man.
Being a good husband and becoming a father meant a more risk-averse career. He's articulate, well-mannered, and a little smug, despite harboring quiet doubts about his work.
Does anybody actually read my column? Do your friends ever talk about it?
But among his civilized interactions with his estate agent and lawyer, we catch glimpses of another side, his wild side. He's got 3 paws in civilization, 1 always in the wild. From the beginning, a specific and personal fear of Mr. Fox's is established.
Wolf. What wolf? Nothing.
But when asked directly, he's adamant it's not actually a fear.
Are you scared of wolves? Scared? No. I have a phobia of them.
This distinction might mean more than he realizes. Mr. Fox is dissatisfied with domestic life.
Honey, I'm 7 non-Fox years old now. My father died at 7.5. I don't want to live in a hole anymore, and I'm going to do something about it.
But his initial solution to move above ground doesn't address the real inner struggle he's contending with.
Who am I, Kylie? Who am I? And how can a fox ever be happy without you'll forgive the expression, a chicken in its teeth?
One last job, a triple header, is what Mr. Fox really needs to feel whole again.
And so it begins.
The heists are a way to reclaim his wildness, a part of himself he buried to become a better husband, a father, a newspaperman. But it's a life that has consequences for his family, his whole community, and for himself. When confronted by Felicity, his defense is a moment of real honesty.
Because I'm a wild animal.
And her response is equally as honest.
You are also a husband and a father.
Neither of them are wrong, and there lies the problem. Mr. Fox gave up a large part of himself to live a civilized life. And even when the yearning for his wildness eventually drew him back in, he felt like he needed to keep that part of himself separate through secrecy. But when it all comes crashing down, as it literally did, he's forced to confront his defining internal conflict, being a wild animal in a corduroy suit. The irony is that denying a part of himself didn't make it disappear. It resurfaced in the very things he was trying to protect. Doubts about his work, distance from his wife, and a struggle to connect with and understand his son. Ash lives in the shadow of his fantastic father, and more recently his cousin Christopherson, a meditating whack-bat prodigy who's just a natural-born athlete. The very thing Ash is desperate to be. But Ash,
I guess he's just different.
and really wishes he wasn't.
I'm not different. Am I?
He wants to be fantastic like his dad, but his struggle is realizing that being fantastic doesn't mean becoming someone else. Accepting that was always going to start with his dad accepting him first.
Ash, I'm so glad he was you.
Once he gets that validation, he can tap into the athletic, wild animal craziness he's been searching for, and finally get his hands on a bandit hat.
Here, put this bandit hat on.
But his is different. It's got stars on it. But Mr. Fox can only give Ash that validation because he's finally beginning to understand and accept himself. After being drowned out of his victory feast by Bean's very alcoholic cider, he has a realization in the sewer. The answer to his inner conflict isn't to choose between the two sides of himself, it's to accept there's just one. And denying any part of who he is only damages Mr. Fox as a whole. His wildness is both his greatest strength and his greatest source of insecurity.
Foxes traditionally like to court danger, hunt prey, and outsmart predators, and that's what I'm actually good at.
His master plans come naturally to him. He's undeniably talented at being a fox. But somewhere along the way, being fantastic became something he needed to prove.
I think I have this thing where I need everybody to think I'm the greatest, the quote-unquote fantastic Mr. Fox.
If he isn't fantastic Mr. Fox, then who is he? Felicity knows who he really is.
We're wild animals.
I guess we always were.
She can accept that he's a wild animal, but that doesn't mean she has to accept everything he does.
But I shouldn't have married you.
She's not asking him to be less wild, just to understand that being wild doesn't absolve him of being a husband and a father. Self-acceptance isn't self-justification. It means you can stop pretending to be someone you're not and take responsibility for who you are. And once Mr. Fox stops fighting his nature, wildness becomes the thing that saves them.
I also see a room full of wild animals.
Every animal gets to play to its own strengths, and together they outsmart the farmers. Ash doesn't need to stop being different. Mr. Fox doesn't need to stop being wild. They just need to stop treating those parts of themselves as something to overcome. And then, Mr. Fox comes face to face with what he's really been running from. I'm sorry it took a while, but there was a lot to establish. Of course, he insists he isn't scared of wolves.
Scared? No, I have a phobia of them.
Fear is a natural, healthy response to danger. A phobia is something deeper, more irrational.
I have a phobia of wolves.
The wolf is the final test for Mr. Fox, the resolution of his journey. Wildness in its rawest form. No suit, no newspaper, no family. Just a wild animal, and a part of himself he's terrified of. But instead of running, Mr. Fox tries to communicate, searching for some common language.
Canis lupus. Vulpus vulpus. Where'd you come from?
He asked the wolf. But it feels like he's really asking himself the same question.
Who am I, Kylie?
Where did this part of me come from? Why have I spent so long being afraid of it? Eventually, Mr. Fox raises his paw, and the wolf raises his paw in return. It's a moment of silent solidarity between the two, of acceptance and understanding. It's the moment Wes Anderson's whole film has been building towards. Mr. Fox doesn't need to conquer his wildness, explain it, or even use it to pull off another fantastic caper. He just needs to recognize it.
What a beautiful creature.
Being comfortable in your own skin, or fur, is a process. For Mr. Fox, now when he looks in the mirror and sees a wild animal in a corduroy suit, it's a little easier to keep a straight face. At some point, maybe he won't feel the need to turn away.
This concept of this character being sort of obsessed with being a wild animal became more and more a part of our version of the story. That doesn't come from the book.
Right.
That comes from our personalities, I guess.
In telling his favourite childhood story, Wes Anderson made it entirely his own. through the meticulous texture of stop motion, his distinctive directorial process, and an expansion of Dahl's story that gave it a far deeper emotional core, one that reached its final climax in a scene that had nothing to do with the plot, but everything to do with the film, when Mr. Fox encounters the wolf.
That ended up being kind of what it was all about for me anyway. This sort of guy in corduroy who one doesn't want to lose contact with his wildness.
And maybe what's more interesting than its importance to Mr. Fox is its importance to us. We seem to like confronting human nature through animals. Maybe it's less of an affront to see our contradictions in a fox than in ourselves. But the encounter with the wolf can be universally understood. There's an innate, harder to name essential part of ourselves, one we might bury to fit in with what the world expects of us. And it can be scary, even irrationally so, to confront it. But maybe, if we're brave enough to accept all of ourselves, we might find our own wolf a little less frightening, and maybe even beautiful.